have enough energy to actually live the vision. So with the stabilization of the body temple, we begin with about right nutrition, hydration, exercise, rest, sleep. All of these are very, very important for us to keep a healthy body temple that when the immune system is strong enough, it can heal just about anything. When your immune system is strong enough, any particular flu bug or whatever seems to be going around at that time, the immune system can handle it. But if you've worn the body temple down or haven't taken care of the body temple, then it becomes open season for it to be the condition of disease. Or if you're not eating the right kind of food, if you're eating inert, fast foods with empty calories or too much sugar, and then you're also providing the context for disease to emerge in the body temple. So we take care of the body temple. We take care of our body temple better than we take care of our automobiles, because some people really take care of their automobiles. Give it the best high octane, polish it, clean it up on a regular basis, but they don't do an internal cleansing.
Okay, hello everybody. I just turned off my Michael Beckwith, the most famous Michael Beckwith there. I love listening to Michael Beckwith. He is my inspiration. I just love his words of wisdom. He's just a great guy to listen to, and I listen to him in the mornings when, one of my first things I listen to, one of my motivational audios that I listen to, and it just lights up my day, so yeah, thank you for coming on, everybody that's here. Michelle, thank you for coming on. Hannah, hello Hannah. Louise, hi Louise, how are you, my darling? How are you? Hope you can come on live. By what you can tell of the title, today I bring you what has been sort of on my mind quite a few times this week is, imagine, the title is Imagine Your Future Today, Imagine Your Future Now. And as you can look at the title is showing you that I've just sort of broken down the word for you. The word imagine says, in actual fact, I am a genie. So, we are magicians in our own right. We are magicians. We have, the magic within us in how we orchestrate our day, our future, in what we want to happen. I'm going to share with you today 3 to 4 tips on how you can kind of look into your future and how you can kind of start thinking about your future and in what sort of baby steps, action steps that you can sort of take to start making your future work for you and how you want to activate it, let's say. So the first step that I would say is, or ask yourself these questions is, where do you see yourself in a month's time? Where do you see yourself from this point onwards? What do you see yourself doing in a month's time? What places do you see yourself going to in a month's time? What sort of person do you see yourself becoming in a month's time? How have you grown in a month's time in what your plans are to do? Now, some of us may not have any plans. They may not have any plans of kind of growing in a certain way. We may not have put enough thought towards what it is that we're going to be doing in a month's time. Maybe you haven't sat down and actually put pen to paper as yet. I know that for an action to happen in the first place, it starts with your thought, and you have to kind of set the intention by writing it down, by really putting some thought into it and writing down so that you can clear those thoughts of that intention by writing it down on the paper. So the first question you're going to ask yourself is, where do you see yourself in a month's time? So we're just going to concise it down to a month, first of all, And you could say, for instance, you could say that you've been thinking about writing a book for some time. Let's just say that's an example I'm giving you. You've been thinking about writing a book for some time, and it's probably something that you've been coming up with you, and you've always said, I've got to write this book, and you know it's in you, but you just haven't got round to even starting. So what's the first step you're going to take with that? What's the first step you're going to take? Now, some people, when they come to this point, this is the point where they kind of get stuck, because actually they don't really know how to go forward with the idea. Because they have the idea, but they're not really sure. But then they're not taking no action steps. So, they're not feeling driven into taking an action step as such. But then in yourself that feeling keeps coming up. You keep getting those days, and obviously you're probably a procrastinator like I was, and you're saying to yourself, you will do it. You probably jot it down somewhere, but then you haven't addressed it. And the thing about that is what I have learned in my experience is for me to take those action steps, I actually have to write down what it is I am doing in the action step, what it is I'm doing. So let's follow that example. So for the action step for you saying you're going to write a book, so the next question you'd ask yourself, empowering question, is, if I were going to write a book, what would it be about? And what passion is with me that makes me want to write this book? Because you've had that feeling about writing the book. So what is it about writing a book that you feel that you should be writing a book about? So you've got to ask those empowering questions. What is it that is with me that I should be writing a book about? And believe me, the answer will come. The answer will come. You might not know the answer right there and then, but you will get the answer. If you seek the answer deeply, it will come. You need to just keep on seeking the answer. And obviously, the universe has got ears. We know this. The universe can hear you. You might say something. I'll give an example. The universe can hear our thoughts. Oh yes, that's true. The universe can definitely hear our thoughts. I'll give you an example. The fear is false evidence appearing real. So let's take that for instance. Fear is false evidence appearing real. So the very thing that we rehearse in our mind, which is worry, worry is a rehearsal of the very thing that we don't want to happen. So if we keep saying to ourselves, oh my gosh, I'm going to have an accident. Oh my gosh, I'm going to have an accident. It could be you learning to ride a bike. Oh my gosh, I'm going to have an accident. Oh my gosh, I'm going to fall off the bike and hurt myself. You keep saying that in your head. Guess what? You're going to fall off your bike. You're going to fall off and you're going to hurt yourself because you're rehearsing that in your head constantly. So if you were saying the same thing in reverse, if you were saying, I'm going to succeed on this bike, I'm going to learn to ride this bike, no matter how many times I fall off, I'm going to aim to do well on this bike and ride this bike, guess what? You're going to actually ride the bike because you are rehearsing that in your mind. So it's the same processing when you, hello Dee, welcome. Hi Denise, are you going to come on the live? I can see Chris coming on my live. So the same action that you're going to take to ride this bike, you're focusing on really aiming to learn to ride this bike. Guess what? You're going to be a winner on the bike. You're going to ride the bike. So this is the universe hearing your voice and hearing you say that in your mind over and over again. Same thing can be applied to you saying that, you want to take this action into learning to write this book. Whatever book it is, you don't know what book it's going to be about, but you're asking the universe, what is possessed within me to bring out this gift that I have in writing a book? And it's gonna come up. The universe is going to show you in some way. It's going to present itself. So the next step is, as I said, ask empowering questions. You're going to ask empowering questions because you don't say things like. I'll give an example of a question that you wouldn't. It's not an empowering question to ask. So say for instance, you want to write a book, you wouldn't say, oh, but why do I need to write a book? Why, what? You wouldn't say. You could say, what's the book about? You could say that, but no, the other way, what I've just given you, is a better way of saying it. So the question not to say is, what is the book about? The other way to say it, the empowering question, is what is within me that I possess that will give birth to write this book? What is it that I have in me to write this book? So this is what the empowering question that you will ask. So then, next thing that you would say, that's the first tip. So you ask another question. What's your first step? So we're talking about action step now. The action intention in actually doing it. The action step. So what's the first step you're gonna do? So once you find out what the book's about, say the book's about learning to ride a bike. Okay, learning to ride a bike. So what you're gonna say, right, I'm gonna gather a special book that I'm going to have, a special notepad about writing the book, and basically you're going to work out using your 5 core. You're gonna find 5 core chapters that you're gonna write about in terms of riding a bike. Now you're gonna think about, this book. Who's the audience for this book? First of all, who's this book for? That would be my first question. That's just an example. I'm thinking, who am I writing this book for? What's this audience? So you're going to write about who's the book for? What do they want to hear? What would this audience want to hear? Sorry, that's the second question. What would they want to hear? So that's two. That's chapter 2. So you're going to write each finger. Do you get the idea? Each finger that you have, let's say 5 chapters. Let's start off like that. Each finger that you write, you're writing 5 chapters in the book. And basically, in those 5 categories, you're pinpointing areas that you're going to write in those chapters. So I know I put it simply there. It's really basic, but that is the way that you kind of look at it. And then the next thing you're going to do, this is an action step. You're actually going to allocate that time when you are going to start writing, and you're going to give a realistic time. You're going to think about the place where you're going to go and write the book. And one of the things I did when I was studying, a course last year, like a course online. And you know what? I was no good at studying in my house. I was no good. I had too many distractions. I kept eating. I kept on. My mind was just wandering off on something else. I might have got a notification on the Facebook page, and I was just like doing other things. And it took away. It must have ate away like maybe, I don't know, 15 minutes of my time that I was spending an hour on the studying. And so, guess where I went in the end? I was really truthful with myself. I said, you know what? You need to go to the library. That's what I did. I took my laptop and I went to the library. No distraction. Got on with the work. Got lots of work done. So, be truthful about where you're going to actually take the action in doing what you're going to do. The environment, is it the right environment to sit in your house with the TV on, with kids screaming, that kind of thing. You've got to make a space for it in where you're going to be doing it. And so those are the things to think about. And then the next step would be, what time frame are you going to achieve by writing this book? So in other words, give yourself a time target as to when you are going to have written the book about riding the bike. This is our example. So you might say, I'm going to take 6 months or even 3 months, let's say. I'm going to take 3 months to write this book because say you're very skilled at teaching people how to ride bikes and say you've had years of experience. It shouldn't be hard for you to write that book then, should it? You know, so let's say you're going to give yourself 3 months to write the book. And obviously in that time, you're going to have a plan of action, time slots as to what you're going to be doing each time, up until the 3 months of writing the book. You know, this is what you do when you are, you know, imagining the whole picture of you know, what you want to happen to the future. I'll take you through all of that again in a moment. So you have to, you know, it all starts with a thought in your mind. You know, if you could see your future in 6 months' time, and, you know, a lot of us do have a visual of what we want to happen in 6 months' time or even a year's time. You know, that grand tour holiday that you're looking forward to. But sometimes we don't take those little action steps to plan for that to happen. You know, how are we going to make that possible? A lot of the time, we don't have the how. A lot of the time, we don't know how. And that's where a lot of people become stuck. They become stuck with what they need to do. So a lot of the time, they give up on the idea. And this is why a lot of people have what we call the New Year's resolutions, which by now they've fizzled out already because they don't really think about the how and they don't seek the knowledge to find out the steps to get to where they're going. And then by March, they've forgotten about them. And they're still going around that, what I call hamster wheel, because they haven't taken the action. So I'll go over that again so that you can get those pointers in how to take, you know, what I would call massive action in the beginning, and obviously starting off that momentum into building something, and just to show you how simple it is in terms of a little thing, you know, and what you can produce. So remember, the first step I said is to, you know, look at yourself in, you know, see if you really want to take action in anything. You do look at yourself in a month's time, and this is how the thought starts. Look at yourself in a month's time, and where do you see yourself? Where do you see yourself going? Where do you imagine yourself being in a month's time? You know, and if you haven't got an image or an imagination as to what you're doing, and you haven't got really any plans, then maybe you should start thinking about something that you've probably thought about for numerous of times, but you haven't taken the action. So then, if you don't have a plan for the near future, then the first step is to ask yourself 3 empowering questions. You know, what is it that you want? What is it that you really want? What is it that is your heart's desire? That is the first one. What is it that you really want? So ask yourself that empowering question. What is your heart desire that you really want to see happening in a month's time? Ask yourself that question. Yeah, so that's how I would put it. What do you see yourself doing in a month's time? Let me just read some of the comments, by the way. It's going to happen. Of course it's going to happen. And I know that you're doing it already, Dee. You're doing it. You're putting it into action. You're doing this and that. You're doing that. I know you are, you know. So, you know, you say to yourself, truthfully, an empowering question you ask yourself, what do I see myself doing in a month's time? So, and if your answer are, you know, not fulfilling answers and, you know, you're being truthful with yourself, then you need to say to yourself, you know, what is it that my heart's desire? What is that my heart's desire? What do I really want to see myself doing in a month's time? And then that's the main question that you're looking at for the answer for, because you want the universe to, you know, you want to collaborate with the universe because you want the universe to give you the answer as to what it is you really are, you know, meant to be doing, so that you're seeking your purpose. This is the whole point. And the next empowering question that you ask yourself is, what is for that? You get your answer. You get the answer. And my example that I gave today was, you are learning to ride a bike. Okay, you're teaching someone to learn. You're teaching someone how to ride a bike. So then because you've got that skill of teaching people how to ride bikes. So the next thing is what is the first action step that you need to take in to make that happen, into writing this instruction manual of how to ride a bike. So then now what you're going to do is you're going to think about where you're going to place yourself. First of all, how many chapters are you going to have in the book? And you have your finger and you say to yourself, who is my target audience? Who am I writing this book for? What will they like to hear? What sort of things would they like to hear in the book? Maybe you need to do some research in this area, in whatever it is. In this instance, it's about riding a bike, teaching someone to ride a bike. So you might do a bit of research on it. You might actually go out there and do a survey, and you might ask 10 people or 50 people, and you might say to them, do you know how to ride a bike? Or if you ever thought about riding a bike, or this kind of thing. You do a survey to get the answer in what you need to know, so that you've got a clear view of what kind of audience you're writing for. You might need to do some research on that one. So, and the next thing is that you write the chapters of each book. You write down what they're going to be about. And the next thing you do is you find a place where, because this is like the first action steps, what you're doing. You find a place where you're going to be actually take action into doing it. And I gave you the example about me doing a study program last year, and I tried doing the study program at home online. I couldn't do it. It wasn't that I couldn't do it. It was at home. It was not the right environment for me to be doing it, because I had too many distractions. I was eating in between, snacking in between. I was taking notifications on my phone. I was taking notifications on my laptop. I was being distracted all the time. So in the end, I took myself to the library. And that did it for me. Because you have to be truthful to yourself. You have to be truthful. If you really want to take the action properly, you have to think about, where should you be doing it for it to happen. And so the last point that I said was pinpoint a time target. When do you want to by? So you say, I said 3 months. You want to have written the book or scripted the book by 3 months. Yeah, and in that time frame, you're actually mapping out the time frame that you're going to be doing the written work in that time up until 3 months. Allowing time for editing and all the rest of it. So you are time framing everything that you're doing. So thanks, Tanya, for joining, my darling. How are you? Hope you're well. Hello, Rachel. I can see you watching. But so those are 3 steps that you take if you're wanting to imagine your future. You're wanting to do something that you really have desired to do, but you can't quite get the picture. And you know that you are the person that the idea is going to come from. It's within you. You have to try and manifest it, try and imagine it in action. You have to try and make it happen. It's the only way it's going to happen. Because sometimes, we're going to need to really push ourselves into doing it. One of the main ways that I think is a good idea that you could actually as well, I'll give you a bonus tip that you could have is that make yourself accountable to somebody. So you might say to someone, guess what? I'm writing this book on cycling, teaching people cycling, and I want to run it by you because I'm going to need your opinion on it. I want you to be my first student with teaching you how to use the manual to ride a bike. That could be a good one. So you can have someone to support you with it, and they can be accountable to you doing the book. So now you've got a commitment to writing the book because you're giving something to somebody as well as writing the book. So you're modeling it on someone. Oh, that is such a brilliant one. Whoever's going to write this book about the cycling, let me know, because I want to know if it's going to work for you. Hey there, Lakeisha. Hello. Thank you for joining. And Chantel. Hi, Chantel. Hiya. So, bonus tip. First tip is imagine yourself in a month's time. If you can't quite imagine it, ask yourself empowering questions. What would I like to be doing in a month's time? What do I see myself? What is in my heart's desire that I really want to do in a month's time? And that answer will come to you. When it does come to you, you think of the action steps. That's number 2. The action steps actually that you'd be doing to make it happen. Whether it's a bit of studying, whether it's actually going somewhere to get the information, putting yourself on a training course. It could be anything. This is the action step. Go online, research about what you're going to be doing, what type of course it is that you need to do. These are the action steps that you're doing. And the next thing is put a time frame on it. Put a time frame that when do you want this completed by? When do you want it done by? And the main one that I said, which is a bonus tip, is hold yourself accountable to someone. That one has so worked for me all the time. It's so worked for me because it means that you've actually committed to yourself. Not only yourself, you're already committed to someone else, and that person is going to be your person that's going to be supporting you throughout in what you're doing. So, I would recommend that you get accountability partner to be doing anything that you want to get started. That's new. Let me know if you got value. Hi, Carrie Ann. Hi, my darling. Hi, thanks for joining me. So, I'm going to leave it there, and let me know if you got any value on this live, and also do drop a comment below. And if you've got any questions and to ask me, just drop them below or private message me. That'd be nice to hear from you. Drop me a hello. Find out what I do. I do quite a few things. I'm a well-being coach. I am a got so many words in my head. I am a creative goddess. I can create something out of nothing. You name it, I can do it for you. I'm also a I am also a what's the other thing I do? I do quite a few things. I am also a thought leader. I am also a new age thought leader. So you could come to me, and I can support you with your needs in all those areas and more. So private message me or drop me a comment and let me know. I hope you got value on this live that I brought to you, and thank you all, everybody, for joining you. I'm going to go back onto the comments once I finish this live, because I can't see everybody's comments, and I will comment on what it is you put there. Thank you very much, and I'll be bringing you more lives tomorrow, the day after. I'm on a roll with this one. I'm on a roll. Thank you. Good night, everybody. Thank you. Bye. Bye. Bye.